الكرم.
Pendengar tak? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Brothers and sisters, the participants for today's program interview preparation, we are about to begin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is my pleasure to be the moderator for today's session. We begin our program today with the recitation of Al-Fatiha. It is my pleasure to be the moderator for today's session. I am Nurul Atika. I am highly appreciate all of you for taking time off from your busy schedules to join us today. I hope you will learn today, as I believe the session is very important to all of us as the students who will undergo interview session one day. So welcome to the final series of KLM Career Gateway Volume 1. KLM Gateway Volume 1 is the initiative brought by the Academic Affairs Division of KLM Student Society. Last week, we were already done with fill-in LinkedIn on 21st May with Sister Ayu Shahira. Next session will up your CV session with Dr. Samsul. Internship preparation with the internship coordinator of KLM, Dr. Faradiba. And yesterday, we also conducted a mock interview session with a few panels from IIUM lecturers, with which are Dr. Nur Nabila and Dr. Afiza. And today, or this morning, will be the last session for KLM Career Gateway Volume 1 by Academic Affairs Division. I am sure this session will benefit a lot to all the audience and participants, as the session will be useful and everyone will have to face the interview phase in our life, whether for scholarships or job interviews. So today, we will be exploring lots of information and experience which will be delivered by our beloved lecturers, which is first session with Dr. Mazni binti Saad and next with Dr. Nora Azian binti Naha. So first and foremost, I would like to briefly introduce Dr. Mazni as the speaker for this morning. Dr. Mazni is the assistant professor and the former head of tourism department. Last um, um, the head of the tourism department. Dr. Mazni is a PhD graduate from University Technology Mara, UiTM Malaysia, in Hotel and Tourism Management. She obtained her master degree from University Science Malaysia, USM, in Technology Management, specializing in occupational safety and health. Her Her degree was in tourism and travel from Western Michigan University, USA. She has completed her safety and health officer courses and passed the exam from NIOSH. Besides, she also attended ISO 9001 and 14001 courses and was certified as a competent auditor. Now, besides writing journal articles and books, she is actively collaborating on research and grants, participating in conferences and invention and innovation, and giving training to the public. She won several gold medals in innovations competition and obtained best paper awards from various conferences. Without waiting longer, I welcome Dr. Mazli to deliver all her experience and knowledge for the interview session, and I hope all the audience can pay attention to every points that Dr. Mazli deliver.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Sister Nurul Atika, our moderator this morning, and also my special thanks to Sister Hazira, who approached me for the invitations, and also to Dr. Sam, who recommend my name. So, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone's in these sessions. So I hope everyone's still fresh because it is morning, and furthermore it is Friday mornings. Yeah. Okay. As of today, as mentioned by our moderator, I would like to share some tips on the job interviews. Before I share my slides, I just would like to say this. I really love joining interview sessions, okay? Because interview sessions will give me some challenge. How can I portray myself, okay? And I would like also to know what would be the question asked in the sessions. So I prefer face-to-face interviews because not only the panel can see me, I can also see the panels, and I can use the soft skills, the social skills to master the environment in that interview sessions. So it is very important for you to set your mental readiness, okay? Because it is not only the panel to judge you, but it is you to control the whole session as well. Okay, so now I would like to share my materials. This is the first time I use this StreamYard. Okay, 1 minute. Sister Ada, can you see my slide? Maybe not yet. It shows processing here. Okay. So, okay, how to enlarge this? Okay, so I'm sure here is everyone's, how many of you here? Nuratika, how many of them? I can't see anyone here.
There are 10% in YouTube Live.
I see, okay. So we don't have live audience?
All live audience in YouTube.
Yeah, how many of them?
10. For current there is 10%.
I see. Okay, so I'm sure all of you who are watching these sessions are actually ready to complete your bachelor degree and start for your first career, yeah, using your degree scrolls. All right. So what is interviews? Okay, the interview is actually a formal consultations where the panels will evaluate your qualifications. Okay, the panel would evaluate your qualifications. So here, what are the qualifications needed? Okay, among the qualifications, it is about what is your degree type? Okay, what is your past relevant working experience? How was how were you when you were in school or universities? Are you type of energetic persons, active persons? Okay, what is your interest? What is your patience? So those qualifications shall be evaluated during the interviews. Okay, because the main purpose of the interviews is to make sure that someone that they hire and they pay fit to the job task set by the companies. Okay, so why I'm saying taking us into a company is a big risk. Okay, it is a big risk because when they take us, it means they have to pay and they have to spend time for us. What are the time that they spend for us? Anyone's? What kind of time that would they spend for us? No feedback. Okay. Anyway, one of them is the training that they set for us. Okay. They may send us for in-house training. They may send us for external training. So that is the time that they spend for you. Okay. So while spending the time, they also have to pay. So this is a risk. They wanted to make sure when they interview you, you are worth for the investments. Okay, not just to join and then resign after few months later. So that is what I mean by risk and whether you are worth it for the investments. So in this session, basically, we would like to learn how to be stand out from others because there are many other candidates who apply for the same jobs. Yeah. So I would like to share this hadith. Okay, Abu Hurairah mentioned that the worst of community are those who speaks a lot, those who are diffuse in speech, and those who fill their mouth with words. The best of community are the best of them in characters. Okay, this hadith can be interpreted in many ways, but in this case, I would like to emphasize on the best characters that fit to the job that you applied for. Okay, interviews, maybe people will understand you would attend the interview for the first time, okay, but it could be for a new positions and also for a promotions, meaning to say you may stay in that company for like 3 years, 5 years, and when they decided to promote you, you may be subjected for another interview session. So bear in your mind, the interview won't be only once in your lifetime, it may be a couple of times. Yeah? So during the promotion interview, basically they wanted to know whether, again, whether you are a worth person for a higher pay. All right. So the tips, the bottom line of the interview tips here is to show your confidence, both verbal and non-verbal ways. Okay, because only during the interview they will judge you. They do not know you about the past. They can read what you wrote in the resume, in the curriculum vitae. Okay, they can see you how you portray yourself in the interviews. That's all. They don't know what is the rest. So this is very important for you to make sure you make the interview sessions worth it for yourself as well. Okay, I'm sure you have already how to construct resume, CVs in the previous sessions. So basically, when we ask for the job interviews, we would definitely to have a cover letter. Okay, so the cover letter would explain who are you, why you're applying for the jobs, why you're interested for the jobs. Okay, and definitely you have to attach your resume to your cover letter. So it is good if you can email and also send by post to the organizations or companies. Okay, so the interview could be some company they don't have much time to call you for the interview at their company, so they may have only phone interviews. So it is more what do you call challenge, because phone interviews would really depends on your intonations, the fluence of your English. Okay, speaking to them, this is very challenging. Unless you can see face to face, they can see your body language. Sometimes when you use broken English, they can still understand you, and they would like you if they see you smile along the way during the interviews. But in phone interview, it is very challenging. So you should know another tips, yeah? Okay, so there are 2 points that I would like to share with you today. The first point is about how to master the job interviews, okay? How to master the interview sessions. And the second one, what are the common questions asked during the interviews? All right, so for the job interview tips, I would like to share 8 tips. Okay, the first one, be prepared, dress to impress, doing research, timeliness, first impressions, confidence and diligence, making last impressions, and lastly, to be prepared for Q&A. So there are 8 tips in these sessions. So the first one, prepare a list of questions about the company. Okay, why we need to prepare a list of the questions about the company? Okay, it is not good for you when you attend for the interview and then you keep asking the panels, what is the product of this company? What is the subsidiary of this company? Where else do we have the office? You know, you use the platform to ask about their company. This is not good. You should be prepared for some question about the companies. These are the among the questions that you may want to prepare. Okay, the first one, why this post is available? How long has the vacancy is existed? Okay, why we need to know how long has the vacancy is existed? Is it because of the previous candidates resigned due to something? Okay, because in the interview, it is not only the panel to judge you, you also need to know whether that company is worth for your lifetime. Because when we work, okay, basically, even though we say our working hours may be from 8 to 5 or 9 to 6, okay, but actually from your experience, from your parents' experience, you could see many people bring their works at home as well. So we could say once you work, usually you don't work just during the office hour. Okay, you would bring some works home. You could do it during the weekends. So you have to make sure that company also works for your skill, for your knowledge. Okay, so you also have to need to ask questions. Yeah, who would be the supervisors? Why we need to know who would be the supervisor? Will we be reporting to senior officer? Would we report to the managers? Would we report to the directors? Or is our post actually direct us to the presidents of the company? So we need to know this. Okay, and so as we also need to ask questions when we started to work. Who will be under us? Who are going to be our subordinates? And it is also important for you to check, okay, what is the job description set for your positions. This is very important, okay, because most of us, when we started to work, after sometimes we complained, there are very heavy loads, you know, there are many complaints. So it is very important for you to know what is consisted in the job descriptions. Okay, in job description, basically, or we call it JD, usually it will highlight what are your responsibilities, your roles, what are your accountability. Okay, this is the scope of your work throughout the tenure with the companies. So you may also want to ask more or ask questions about the policies of the companies, okay, philosophy of the company. Ask the what do you call that? Intelligent questions. Okay. Okay. So at first, we also have to prepare about introducing yourself. Okay, usually it is very common when we start the interview, the panel would ask you, okay, tell me about yourself. Okay, you may want to use, if you are fresh candidates, you may want to use 30 seconds of your time to explain about yourself. Okay, usually people ask you, tell me about yourself. You will say, oh, my name, I'm from here, and that's it. Maybe it lasts like 5 seconds. Okay, so here are the tips you may want to mention. Oh, my name is Mazni Saad. You can call me Mazni. My age is now blah, blah, blah. I'm the eldest in my families. I have 4 children. And then you may want to mention a short reason why you applied for the job. Okay, and then during that 30 seconds, you may want also to mention about your past achievement and your patience. Your patient here, maybe you wanted to say a little bit about your personalities. Okay, I am looking for a challenge jobs, you know. So say something words about yourself. So other than that, you also need to be prepared for some powerful statements. Okay, mind you, in the interviews, we always have to tell positive things, even though the question asks you or provoke you for some negative things. For example, they ask you, why did you resign from the last company? Maybe you have very bad experience with the past companies, but please never tell negative things, okay? Because the negative parts is about your perceptions, about your feeling about the company. The company itself maybe is not that 100% negative as what you perceive. If you perceive such way and you tell what your perception in negative way, the panels in that interview session may think that you are also a negative person. Okay, you always think about the negative thing about others, and this is not good to take you as the staff for their company. So, but at the same time, we don't brag about ourselves. Jangan cakap besar. Don't boast. We just be honest and sincere during the interviews. So, among the powerful message in this stage, I would like to share. There are 4. The first one, you need to identify first what would be the powerful message for your strength points. Okay, and you should think of the specific examples about the strength points of yourself. Okay, then you should also ready to tell what are the impressive result or past achievement of your previous tasks. Let's say you are new, maybe you are fresh candidates, maybe you can tell something impressive about your study, your CGPA, or maybe because of your active participations in some association clubs, or maybe because you were appointed as president, secretary. Okay, so tell the impressive results. Okay, and lastly but not least, whatever powerful message that you prepare, it must match with the employee's need. Meaning to say, we don't drag the conversations long, but whatever we say is actually cater for the jobs that you applied for. Okay, so if the job is about stressing on the let's say on the digital expertise, okay, then of course you apply because you have some skill in that. So you may want to tell something that you achieve regarding that matter. Okay, so all right, second point, dress to impress. So what is dress to impress? uh, it is a saying that it is better for us to overdress than underdress. What is overdress? Overdress, maybe, you know, you want to apply only for a very simple job. For example, like maybe just like for officer level, but you can always dress up with the blazers, nice pants, okay, and even but this is depends on the culture as well. It is nothing wrong for you to wear baju kurung, for example, or kebaya, for example, but make sure it is what do you call that? Make sure it is to show your courtesy to the companies. Okay, so this is what we say, dress not for a job, meaning to say we don't dress up such and such way because this is the position that we apply for. Okay, but it's actually to show our politeness and we show the respect to the interview sessions, meaning to say I dress up well, you wear using baju kurung, okay, I avoid to show something that would distract panel, for example, like people who maybe they don't use what do you call that, scarf, for example, maybe they would like to use skirt. Okay, don't never wear mini skirt or something that show your shoulders, because it will invite some sexual harassments later on. So this is the tips about the dress. Okay, the next one, doing research. Okay, this is also mentions a little bit in the beginnings. There are two things of the research that you may want to be prepared. The first research is about the company itself. Okay, you may want to get ready. Yeah? Maybe you are now interviewed in KL, but actually they have many subsidiaries or branches all over Malaysia or maybe abroad. So you need to know later on during the question, you need to know where will you be placed. Don't think that you are interviewed in KL, then you would be appointed or work in KL. Maybe they will send you somewhere outside, far away. So you need to know how many subsidiaries, how many branches. So during the Q&A later, you can ask about your positions. So be ready. This is doing research about the company. Another research is about the job itself. Okay, what the jobs requires candidates to have. Okay, basically, if you look at the advertisements, they will list down many criteria. So you need to know whether you fit to the criteria or not. Okay, so basically in the advertisement, they will mention about your degree. Do they need only like first degree, or is it they need like master degree or PhD degrees? Okay, what kind of soft skill they are wish to get from the candidates? Okay, how many years experience they want or they expected from the candidates? You need to do this research because you don't want to go to interviews who are looking for 10 years working experience in relevant positions, whereas you just graduated from IIUM. So you need to know about the vacancy as well. Okay, so at the same time, you need to know what is the good job for yourself. Okay, so how to know whether the job is good for you or not? So basically, again, from the advertisement, you would know whether you fit to the company, whether you can contribute to the company or not. Not only the company wanted to know whether you fit for their company, you also wanted to know whether you fit with the company or not. Yeah? So this is very, very important. All right. There are many companies who do not use the conservative advertisement through newspaper anymore. Usually, they will post in their website. So it is very important nowadays, especially in these millennial years into 2022. If you're interested in certain jobs, you need to visit their website. You don't wait for someone to tell you, hey, there is a vacancy, you need like last time during my time, usually we depends very much on the newspaper. Okay, for example, like Stars, they always choose Saturday to advertise all the vacancies. So most of us during my time, even though we don't buy Star, this is newspaper every day, but usually we will buy the Saturday's versions because there's a lot of job vacancy advertised in that newspaper. Same goes to the Utusan Malaysia. Okay, Utusan Malaysia usually is a platform for the government to post a vacancy for the to work with the government. So those who are interested to work in government, usually we will seek for the Utusan Malaysia for the advertisement. But nowadays, you have to forget about it. People just go for the technologies. You really have to go to the website. They don't care about advertising to other people's. We as the potential candidate, we have to browse the websites for the informations. Okay, so there are two research. One is about the company, the other one is about the job itself. Okay, timeliness. What is timeliness? This is also very, very important because it really shows about your competencies. Okay, during the interviews, as I said, they don't know you. They cannot judge you based only your resume. So during the interview, you should be punctual. Okay, you must attend the interview sessions, or you must reach the company at least 30 minutes earlier. Okay, 30 minutes earlier. Why I'm saying 30 minutes earlier? Because once you reach the companies, you may have to register with the security guards. It may take you like 5 minutes. And then you have to search for the parking space. It's another 5 minutes. Okay, and then you walk into the lobbies. Okay, maybe you have to fill out some documents, simple documents about yourself. Through my past experience, usually we will get simple documents. So the candidate, even though we already have their particulars from the resumes, but still we would like to use our own template. So we will give them simple documents. They have to fill up their names again, their age again, what are their backgrounds, qualifications. Okay, it's a simple one. So that may also take like 10 minutes time. So that's why I said it is best for you to reach at the gate at least 30 minutes before the interview's time. Okay. And it is also good, okay, once you reach earlier, while waiting for the interviews, you have time to get to know other candidates. Okay. Don't keep to yourself. Okay, when you see like there are 20 other candidates, don't keep to yourself, keep reading about the companies. There is no time for you to read about the companies and try to memorize things already. That time, okay, while waiting time, you should use the time to communicate with the other candidates. Okay, while communicating with other candidates, basically it will reduce your tensions. Okay, you reduce your tensions. So now, oh, I know I can get friends, new friends, and this new friend maybe share some information about the company, about the jobs, okay? Especially about how much should we ask during the interviews. Okay, we can exchange some information with the candidates. So while talking to other candidates, basically, you can reduce your tensions and you don't think much about what would be asked during the interviews. Okay, you just be yourself, but be yourself who is well prepared. So in order to be punctual, it is very important. Yeah, most of the candidates who always not punctual during the interviews, they have reasons like, oh, I was caught in the traffic jams, or it was heavy rainings. Okay, there is what do you call that? Some renovations occurred on the road. Panels were not interested to know about your problems. They want to spend their time at a set time to interview you. Okay, let's say they set at 10 o'clock. They are very busy person. Yeah, they are very busy person. There are many things to do. But during that day, they have to slot in their time for 2 hours, 2 hours for the interviews. So that 2 hours, let's say from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, they don't have time to wait for you, okay? Because their time for that particular 2 hours is only to interview you. So please always be punctual, okay? And this is another tips, okay? You should apologize when it is necessary. And even though sometimes you did some mistake, okay, don't talk about your fault many times. Don't mention it many times, because it shows that you are uh, not ready. You are not confident about yourself. Okay, that would give some misleading conception, misleading perception about you. All right. So again, to get on time for the interview, please leave earlier. Okay, don't worry if you leave you reach like 1 hour in advance. Just stay in your car or go to somewhere nearby to the organization for your breakfast, for example. It's fine. Huh? Okay, so the fifth tips, it is about the first impressions. Okay, this is very important because panels are usually somebody in that organizations. Okay, who will be the panels? Okay, let's say you are applying a job in a tourism department. Okay, let's say you apply for let's say to be a researcher in the research department. So basically, who will be the panels? It will be the head of that department. It would be the human resource managers. It would be maybe finance managers. Okay. There could be several managers, including your immediate supervisor. So these people will judge you based on their capacity. So HR would like to know your expectations, how much you would like to ask. Okay, same goes to the finance. But those people from the department that you are interested to work with, they are much interested in your expertise, your knowledge, your skills. Okay, and of course your personalities, because the personality is very important. Whether you can work with other people or not, okay, whether you can obey to regulations or not, whether you are just following things without having any ideas at all. This is very important. So some of the body language in the first impression, for the first impression during the interview, these are the things that I list down. The first one, do not cross your arms. Cross your arm like this. Okay, this shows your what, insecurity or defensive. Don't never act like this during the presentations or interviews. Okay, people would see, oh, these people try to be defensive. Uh, he has something in his mind. So same goes to the cross legs. Do not cross legs. Ini panggung kaki. Cross legs can also shows that even though some people they are very comfortable crossing their legs, but I think in this case you need to know whether the interview sessions depends. If the interview sessions sometimes they put some spacing between the panels and you, so they can see overall you in front of them. So at this point, please avoid cross legs. Okay, it shows your arrogant, too confidence about yourself. But if you are just next, sitting at the same table, they cannot see your leg, then it's up to you. Okay, you can be yourself. All right, posture. Again, usually in the interviews, they will prepare you a chair. So when you sit, make sure you don't bend yourself. Okay, straight, and you have to make sure your level of your chin also accordingly. All right, so during the interview, uh, in order to avoid bad impressions, as the first tip was, be prepared. Okay, if once you be prepared, in this case, you will avoid uncertainty. when you answer, you would like to put okay, or you may want to use local dialects. You think maybe you are working in let's say in your own states, yeah, and then in Terengganu, and then you think the panels are also from Terengganu. Never try to speak in your local dialect, because it will show you you are not professional. So please use good language. Eh? So the next point, nodding your heads. It is very important. Okay. Same goes to your class. Yeah? When your lecturer says some things, if you understand, please nod your head. If you don't understand, please raise your hand. Nobody knows what is in your head. If you don't nod your head, we don't know whether you understand or not. So during the interviews, if the panel says something, you should say yes or just nod your heads. This is showing that you are interacting with them. You are listening to the panels. Okay. So if you just stay calm, static, the panel may think that you are there. The physical of you is there, but you actually in your mind you are thinking of something else. So it is very important to respond to the panels. Okay, there are certain things that I highlight in blue here. The phone. Okay, nowadays this is really, the gadget is really part of our life. Okay, what happened once we wake up? The first thing that we see is phone. Okay, what is the last thing we see before we go to sleep? Again, your phone. Okay, this is a very common nowadays. Not only your generations, my generation, and even baby boomers. The phone serve as many things. Last time phone only to communicate, but nowadays phones serve so many things. You can watch Netflix over the phones. You can communicate. You can share status. You can read other people's status. You know, so phone is everything. Okay, but during the interview, please switch off the phone and do not attempt to check any message. Okay, do not attempt to check any message. Don't take any call. So that's why sometimes when you did not switch off the phone, let's say you are receiving phone call from your parents. Okay, it is bad for us not to answer the phone. Okay, the parent also might think, why my daughters or my son won't pick up the phone? So it is best for you to phone off, because the interview won't last like 2 hours. Okay, most of the interviews, if you're a very good candidate, sometimes it drags like 30 minutes, 40 minutes only. So they can wait for you. All right, so during the interview, it is also to have the eye contact with the panels. Having an eye contact doesn't mean staring. Staring is different, yeah. Staring is like you are looking at them and make them feel you are reading about them. Okay, same goes to panels and you. Some panel may be staring at you. Maybe you're wearing a very sexy attire for that day. They would like to stare you instead of looking at you as a candidate. So eye contact is very important. Okay, don't stare to the panels, reading what is this person going to ask me. Okay, apa lagi dia nak tease me. So the next one is about intonations of your voice. Okay, always speak loud, but maintain the humbleness. All right. The last three is about your facial expressions. This is nothing much to pay, only smile. Okay, when you talk while smiling, the intonation of your voice would be different. Some of you, I just witness during the presentations. Maybe you wear mask. Okay, so you don't know people don't know. You think people do not know whether you are smiling or not. But trust me, based on your eyes, based on your voice, we could know whether you are smiling or not. Okay, what is your anxiety level during that time? Are you calm person or what? Okay, so this is very important. Yeah? So the last part, break the ice. What is the break the ice? Breaking the ice in during to make it as a first impression during interviews. Okay, you may once you knock the doors, they invite you to come in. Okay, you can give salam to them. Very good morning. Okay, instead of waiting for them to ask you how are you, you can also ask, Assalamualaikum, how are you, sir? You know, so you need to break the ice as well. This is to show that you are ready about yourself for the interviews. Okay, the last point about the confidence and diligence. Okay, I have mentioned about the preparing simple questions. Other tips that to show confidence is, okay, here there are few points. Simple clothing. Okay, don't wear uh, too striking colors. Okay, too striking colors that distract the panels. Okay, just wear very simple clothing, humbles but yet professionals. And the next tip, don't wear glasses if possible, because some people they may think where I wear glasses I look more intelligent. Okay, but without glasses people could see your eyes. It gives some comfort while interacting with you with the panels. Next is watch your language. Okay, never swear, never curse other people's. Okay, uh, careful with your selection of language. Sometimes maybe you used to use to certain words during your conversations. Okay, maybe you tend to use the slang, the words during the interviews as well. Sometimes it happens. So you must alert all the times and care about your language. So the last part, okay, basically this is for the Western lah. Most of them, not most, many of them, they like to have peers. For guys especially, they pierce their ears, they have small tattoos, you know. During the interviews, please try to cover those. Okay, the 7 point is making last impression. This is very, very important because this is last, what do you call it, last chance for you to sell about yourself. Okay, so you must show some values about yourself during this time, and you must always have a thank you note at the end of the conversations. Okay, so after the interviews, please do have a follow-up calls. Okay, you may want to have like 1 times or 2 times call. It is suffice already. So let's say the first calls, the answer was like they are not ready with the answer, whether decision whether you are passed the interview or not. Okay, follow up for the second calls. Okay, so this is very important. Why? Because follow up call means you are interested in that post. Okay, and that follow up call also trigger the panels that trigger the panel to remember you. Okay, to remember you uh, in the interviews. I would like to share this experience. In one organization, they interviewed so many candidates. Can you expect they remember your face? Okay, you cannot expect they remember your face unless you are really something different than others. Okay, so it is a must for you to follow up cars. So let's say they have like, maybe they would like to choose like 5 candidates only, but now they have shortlisted 10 candidates. Okay, so in order to eliminate the first 5 candidates, because you are very interested with the post, you keep calling, follow-ups, and they may choose you from the list. This is very important about the follow-up calls. Okay, for the second point, which is also the last point in the first point, okay, what are the common tricks, common questions and the tricks? So here I would like to list down about telling about ourselves, already shared with you the 30 minutes time. If you are fresh graduate, if you are very experienced workers, candidates, you may want to spend like 1 minute. Okay, and then the questions could be many. Okay, for example, what will you see in the next 5 years? Okay, you are just be in the interview sessions. But the panel asks you, what will you see in the next 5 years? So basically for these questions, what would be your answer? Okay, the answer would be definitely yes, I'm working with your company. Okay, I would like to be in certain post after 5 years, meaning to say I would perform at my best and I would like to go for managerial positions after 5 years. So you must mention something about your ambitions, okay, to reflect about yourself. So other questions, the panel may also ask, I also was asked this question, are you willing to live here? When I was interviewed for IIUM, I was staying in KL, Shah Alam last time, okay? So KLM is in Pago, all right? And the interview was in Gombak. So they asked me, are you willing to stay in Pago? I said yes, and they were shocked. You are married, you have children still schooling here, your husband is also working, and you said you are willing to leave. Definitely, and that's why I said in the beginning, you do research about the company, you know where KLM is, and because you are willing, that's why you go for the interviews. So you answer, yes, I'm willing, and here I'm willing, and I'm buying house here, even though I already have house in Penang and also other places. So this is my willingness to show that I really would like to work with KLM. So some interviews, let's say they are calling you for the interview in KL and you are staying in KL. So they may ask you, how long does it take to come to the companies? Okay, actually they wanted to know whether you have vehicles or not, transportations or not. Is it by public transportations? If public, then maybe you have to depart from your house like 2 hours in advance, then it may trigger to your problems coming to work on time. So while answering these questions, if your workplace is very near to your house, then you would say I have transport and I can come, blah 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 blah. But if it happens that your home address is very far from this, you may want to say at the moment I'm living here and here, but I'm willing to rent a house uh, to come to work. All right. So if that company always having overtime as part of their practices, they may ask you this question also: are you willing to work overtime? Whether you are willing or not, it is wise for you to answer yes first. Okay. But if you really cannot work overtime, please be sincere. Okay. Maybe it is wise for you to say I can work overtimes, but not on weekends. You mention in advance. Okay. We don't want the candidates who already work with us and then give excuse why you cannot work on overtime. Oh, I have to spend with my family. Oh, I have this and that. Okay, so during this time, you have to be sincere. If you really cannot work overtime, let them know. Okay, the next question, they may ask you questions like, what book do you like to read? Okay, why they ask these questions? Basically, they are interested to know about you. Okay, so even though you like to read about Harry Potter, okay, please don't say something like that. Please tell name of book that related to your work. If it is no book that you read related to your work, just be sincere. Now I'm very busy with my current jobs. I have no time. Don't have much time to read. So just be honest with the panel. Okay. Same goes to what was the last movie you saw. This is also actually just to know what kind of person you are. Okay. And never mention, let's say, especially guys, never mention, oh, the last one was a porno movie, so and so. This is very taboo during the conversation in the interviews. Okay. Next, what is your hobby and interest? Okay. This is also same purpose, asking about your book, last movie. Okay. They wanted to know whether you are active person or passive persons? Okay, the next one, what type of teenagers were you? Basically, based on your resume, they can already judge. But this is the time to use a powerful statements. If you were active in sports, you are active in associations, please highlight at this time. Okay, please highlight during this time. All the points about yourself, the strength point about yourself, please highlight during the time. Okay, next, who are your references? Basically, in resumes, we already put like 2 persons to be referees. They already know that, okay? But when you get this question from your panels, don't just tell about the who is the persons, the references, but you tell about their positions and how well they know you, okay? So for example, you put a name of professor blah 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 blah. Make sure not you know the professor. You should make sure the professor knows about you as well. Meaning to say, while taking her classes, you are very active. She can remember you. You know you were outstanding in the class. So definitely you can put her as your references. Don't just select someone. And one more thing, please acknowledge the references that you put their name in the resume. Okay, because in some works, they may wanted to know more why you quit from last jobs. Okay, so they may really contact these people. So you have to make sure you put the right references. All right, we have like 5 minutes left. Okay, other question, maybe they are interested about your health. So basically they wanted to know whether you are fit with the post or not. And the next tricky questions, how do you balance your life? Okay, nowadays you could see even you as a student, you really struggle between what you like to do in your daytime assignments. There are many things. So in the interview also you may be asked, how do you balance your life? You may wanted to say, oh, I love my work more. This is not wise. You may wanted to say, I love both my work and also my families. Okay, you must protect this, protect your family as well, because uh, in some company they maybe want you, they may recruit bachelor persons, okay, because they want to utilize your time most of the times. Okay, so for this answer, it is good for you to protect yourself, saying that you love both families and your work. Okay, so that this company won't abuse you in case. So for the 13 and 14 points, what is your greatest strengths and weakness or failure? Again, this is also have to be prepared in the first step that I mentioned earlier. For the greatest strength, I think you have no problems. You can highlight. But the last point, okay, about the weakness, even though you are telling the panels about your weakness, but please make sure you tell something that you can cope with the weakness and the reason why you did so and so. For example, you may wanted to say, my weakness is I would like to have more loads to do at the same time because I love the challenge. And because of that, I miss some deadlines. Okay, but you may also want to emphasize why you did that. Okay, you would say from time to time, I would like to challenge myself, and sometimes I am good uh, when I become a depressed person. Okay, when I am very stressful with the task, this is the time when I can contribute more. Some people is like this, okay? Even though you are given assignment like 13 weeks ago, but maybe you will work best in 3 days before your due date. So this is also happen to many people. So remember, for the last point, when you highlight about your weakness, make sure you also highlight about the good points of it. Okay, I think that's all for the sessions. This is another, actually there are many questions, yeah. Okay, so these are the 18 questions that I shared with you, since I only have like 1 hour with you. So could you have any questions? Maybe you can ask in 1 minute time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Mazni, for the meaningful and very useful knowledge and information. I didn't expect the content will be such very long and very detailed, and I'm sure this is very helpful and meaningful for the students. So we actually we have two questions from the chat box. So first question, how to overcome our anxiety during our interview session, and next question. Okay, I don't know. Can you elaborate this question just in 1 minute only?
What is the second questions?
Second questions. This question. I have question regarding salary negotiation. It becomes common practice for interview nowadays. Dependent ask for the previous salary. What's your thought on this since the salary is private and confidential?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, for the first questions, basically once you are well prepared, I think you would reduce your anxiety like 50%. Okay, another 50%, as I said, when you come early to the companies, please make use of that time to communicate with your competitors. Okay, when you speak to them, you introduce yourself. By that time, you will reduce more anxiety about the interview. You don't think much about the interviews. Okay, you will just think, oh, this could be my answer. All right. So by having conversations with your competitors, the other candidates, basically you can reduce another 25%, and the remaining of the anxiety, basically, you have to leave it to him. Okay, you have to always pray. Okay, doa, and of course, you have to how to say, you have to, what do you call that, to leave it to him to decide. You do your best. Okay, the rest is actually, that is what Allah is going to decide for you. Okay, you can plan anything, but the best planner will be him. Okay, so for the second questions about the salary, okay, this is also a very important questions. Sometimes we confuse, should we ask or not? Okay, so as I said just now, when you are talking to your other candidates, basically you can also talk about the salary, how much they plan to ask. Okay, and then based on the advertisement, sometimes they put the range of the salary, and sometimes you are working, if you are applying for the government job, okay, basically there is actually a JPA circulations. You can see the range of salary for bachelor degree, how much and how much. Let's say bachelor degree is 2000, okay, and then they have 1 year increments. Okay, so usually the 1 year increments, basically they would count based on your experience. So let's say you have 2 years relevant experience in that field. Okay, you can top up another 2 months of that increment on top of the basic salary. So let's say the basic salary is 2000, you can request like 2600. Okay, this is the tips. Don't put too high, don't put too low. All right, so I think that's all about the salary issues.
All right. Thank you, Doctor, for the brief and understood questions. So, Alhamdulillah, finally, we already reached the end of our session for this morning. So, I would like to thank Dr. Mazni for her wonderful sharing, and details tips that I think this will help students very much, and I hope the participants can gain knowledge from this session. So we
Alhamdulillah.
will continue for the next session with Dr. Nora. Again,
Okay,
thank you, Dr. Mazni.
thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Waalaikumsalam. Dah ke? Dr. Siapa? Dah.
Tinggi-tinggi pohon cemara, setinggi tiang istana raja. Salam pembuka minyak bunga cengkeh di atas jerami. Terima kasih banyak-banyak sudah datang ke program kami. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera serta selamat pagi. Selamat datang kepada semua ke program Gerbang Kerjaya KLM siri yang pertama. Atau dengan izin, KLM Career Gateway siri, Volume 1. Sebelum kita pergi dengan lebih lanjut, mari kita mulakan program kita pada pagi ini dengan bacaan Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Syukur kehadirat ilahi, dengan limpah kurnianya kita dapat bersama-sama dalam program pada pagi yang indah ini. Terlebih dahulu, saya ingin mengalu-alukan kehadiran Dr. Norazian selaku penceramah kita pada pagi ini. Apa khabar Doktor?
Khabar baik, Alhamdulillah.
Selamat pagi Doktor. Apa khabar Doktor?
Selamat pagi, Alhamdulillah. Sihat, sejahtera.
Untuk makluman anda, semua perkongsian pada pagi ini merupakan sebuah inisiatif oleh bahagian hal ehwal akademik ataupun lebih dikenali sebagai Academic Affairs Division. Program Gerbang Kerjaya KLM siri yang pertama ini telah mengumpulkan 5 program kecil dan program ini telah berlangsung sejak 21 Mei 2022. Program pada hari ini merupakan program yang terakhir bagi siri kali ini dan 4 program yang telah dijalankan ialah pembinaan LinkedIn, pembinaan CV, persediaan latihan industri dan yang terakhir pada semalam ialah simulasi temuduga. Objektif utama program KLM Gerbang Kerjaya ini adalah untuk mendedahkan kepada para pelajar tentang proses temuduga sebagai persediaan bagi menempuh alam pekerjaan kelak. Proses pencarian kerja bukan semata-mata hanya untuk proses temuduga sahaja, tetapi ianya bermula daripada peringkat awal di mana seseorang individu itu perlu membina profil diri yang mantap. Jadi penyertaan anda pada hari ini adalah untuk mengasah kemahiran kendiri dan memberi pendedahan yang lebih mengenai proses pencarian kerja selepas bergraduasi nanti. Semestinya, kesemua topik yang menarik ini akan dikupas oleh penceramah kita pada hari ini yang diperakui pengalamannya dalam dunia pekerjaan. Suka untuk saya ingatkan kepada para hadirin, perkongsian hari ini akan dijalankan dalam bahasa Melayu standard sahaja. Para hadirin juga diminta untuk mengajukan soalan menggunakan bahasa Melayu standard sahaja tanpa menggunakan bahasa Inggeris. Okey, harapnya tak ada percampuran kod lah. Para hadirin juga digalakkan untuk memberi respon dan berkongsi pengalaman temuduga di ruangan komen. Di samping itu, para peserta juga diingatkan untuk mengisi borang pendaftaran yang telah disediakan oleh kontaan yang mendapat, ya Allah hilang, akan mendapat star point. Orang kata tak kenal maka tak cinta, bila kenal terus rasa suka. Sebelum saya serahkan sesi ini sepenuhnya kepada ahli panel kita, saya ingin berkongsi kepada anda semua serba sedikit tentang latar belakang penceramah kita pada hari ini. Beliau merupakan seorang anak jati negeri Perak Darul Rizwan, merupakan seorang pendidik yang berjiwa besar dan telah berkhidmat dalam bidang pendidikan selama 33 tahun. Seorang pensyarah yang sangat dikagumi oleh para pelajar dengan kehebatan beliau dalam morfologi dan juga bidang-bidang yang lain. Jadi, tanpa melengahkan masa, saya menjemput dan mempersilakan Dr. Norazian untuk meneruskan sesi kita pada pagi ini.
Terima kasih saudari pemudah cara Nur Syuhada, yang berbahagia Dr. Mazni Saad, dan juga pelajar-pelajar tahun akhir KLM yang hadir pada hari ini. Agaknya berapa orang yang hadir sekarang? Kalau tadi ada 10 orang, sekarang masa saya tinggal berapa orang kot?
Ada 12 doktor.
Ada 12. Ada tambahlah 2 orang ya? Okeylah. Jadi walaupun 1 orang, apa yang saya harapkan perkongsian ini kalian perlulah memberikan respons kerana saya tak naklah bercakap seorang diri. Ya. Okey, terima kasih ada yang membalas salam saya tetapi tak dapat kenal pasti siapa orangnya. Saya diberi masa untuk berkongsi berkaitan dengan persiapan untuk temu duga. Boleh kongsikan slide? Okay, sementara nak kongsikan slide itu, saya ingin menarik perhatian kepada ada 12 orang pelajar yang bersedia untuk kita sembang-sembang santai ya, berkaitan dengan persiapan kerjaya. Agaknya apalah yang kalian ingin tahu, kerana tadi Dr. Mazni telah pun menyampaikan segala-galanya, cuma berbeza dari segi bahasa sahaja. Okey, boleh saya dapatkan respons daripada audience? Boleh saya dapatkan respon? Doktor boleh lihat di bahagian sembang. Di mana ya bahagian sembang? Sekarang saya melihat Syuhada, di mana ruang sembang?
Ruang sembang sebelah kanan doktor. Ada atas kan?
Okey, itu yang saya sedang perhatikan tapi tak ada tulis lagi. Okey, dari Syuhada, saya ingin tahu tentang cara yang terbaik untuk menjawab soalan dengan efektif. Soalan temu duga lah ya. Okey.
Betul doktor.
Baik. Teruskan dengan ni, dengan slide. Ya. Okey. Apa sebenarnya? Bila kita sebut saja temu duga, apa sebenarnya temu duga tu? Apa sebenarnya?
Proses soal jawab.
Ya, betul.
Kenal mengenal.
Ya, betul. Jadi perkataan temu duga membawa maksud temu maksudnya kita bertemu. Dan duga itu maksudnya kita majikan akan menduga calon-calon yang mohon untuk jawatan tersebut. Itu saja. Okey, apa yang dimaksudkan dengan temu duga? Jadi hari ini saya bercadang untuk mengongsikan, boleh teruskan dengan slide seterusnya. Okey, ini saya dah jawab tadi, temu duga, okey, bertemu dan diduga, ya. Okey, itu saja. Ringkasnya, okey, apa yang saya ingin sampaikan tadi, yang atas sikit, ada kandungan. Tak ada ya, kandungan. Kandungan sebelum, ini dia. Okay. Jadi ringkasannya apa yang ingin saya sampaikan sama dengan apa yang telah Dr. Mazni sampaikan tadi. Cuma ya kalian perlu membuat persiapan sebelum, semasa dan selepas temu duga. Yang pertama, sebelum temu duga kalian perlu menyediakan fail khas. Okey, Contohnya ini setebal 2 inci. Saya dah lama kan mengajar. Jadi ini ada fail kedua. Nampak ke? Tak nampak ya? Okey, fail kedua. Kemudian ini ada fail ketiga. Okey. Yang setiap satunya saya asingkan. Maksudnya sijil ya. Kita ni kan kerana banyak sangat. Jadi sekarang saya sudah ada 3 ataupun 5 fail berkaitan dengan sijil kan, berkaitan dengan kelulusan akademik, kelulusan ilmiah, kelulusan iktisas, jurnal. Okay. Jadi sebelum kita memulakan temuduga, kita perlu menyediakan satu fail khas dan susun mengikut terkini. Maksudnya dan susun mengikut bahan-bahan yang diperlukan. Contohnya akademik. Jika kalian dah ada PhD, jadi PhD tu letak di depan. PhD dulu, lepas tu baru masters, lepas tu baru ijazah, lepas tu baru yang belakang-belakang dan SPM semua di belakang. Itu cara nak menyusun file ya. Okey. Kemudian satu perkara penting, sijil-sijil itu perlu disahkan. Kerana ada kejadian yang berlaku bila dah sampai ke bilik temuduga, didapati sijil ada yang tidak disahkan, maka ahli panel minta keluar sajalah. Jadi alangkah ruginya kerana nak masuk ataupun nak dapatkan temuduga tu bukanlah satu perkara yang mudah. Maksudnya perlu ada penilaian melalui resume dan juga perlu menjawab soalan. Sekarang untuk jawatan-jawatan dengan badan kerajaan ataupun badan-badan swasta, kalian perlu menjawab dulu soalan-soalan secara bertulis. Ada yang terpaksa menjawab 100 soalan yang berkaitan dengan bidang. Kalau nak jadi guru pun mesti menjawab ujian UCAP. Maksudnya ada soalan-soalan yang perlu dijawab. Saya dulu nak jadi cikgu, minat sangat nak jadi cikgu, saya sanggup menduduki ujian kelayakan itu, UCAP tu sebanyak 5 kali. Tetapi bila dah masa tu masih lagi belajar di tingkatan 6 kan. Jadi kita pun tak ada pengalaman 5 kali. Kerana apa cara pun saya mesti jadi cikgu, jadi guru. Kerana arwah ibu saya merupakan seorang guru. Jadi saya tak nampak kerjaya yang lain melainkan guru. Okey. Jadi tetapi apabila berjaya dipanggil temuduga, alhamdulillah saya mendapat keputusan yang cemerlang dan saya diisytiharkan sebagai calon temuduga terbaik. Alhamdulillah. Jadi ya, bagus. Terima kasih. Okey, jadi saya dipilih menjadi bakal guru di UPSI. Jadi untuk pengetahuan kalian, siapa-siapa yang berminat untuk nak jadi guru kan, UPSI adalah pilihan nombor 1. Maksudnya bila mereka jalankan temuduga, jadi markah yang tertinggi itu akan diasingkan dan akan ditempatkan di UPSI. Itu sedikit perkongsian ya. Siapa-siapa yang berminat nak jadi guru. Jadi yang selebihnya barulah ditawarkan ke IPG yang lain. Dulu ya, masa saya masuk Institut Perguruan Sultan Idris pada tahun 1986. Berapa puluh tahun yang lalu, kalian pun tak ada lagi kan. Jadi itu sedikit gambaran. Satu lagi, kalian perlu tahu kalian akan menduduki temuduga jenis apa. Ada banyak kategori. Yang pertama boleh jadi untuk kenaikan pangkat. Jadi bila kenaikan pangkat, kalian perlu ada bawa pula bahan yang lain, iaitu jurnal, penerbitan, buku-buku, majalah ataupun apa-apa yang berkaitan. Okey. Itu untuk kenaikan pangkat ataupun untuk anugerah. Ya, untuk anugerah ataupun untuk dapatkan grant dan sebagainya. Okey, jika untuk dapatkan beasiswa lain pula. Jadi dulu saya pernah dimaklumkan sesiapa yang ingin mendapatkan beasiswa, sekurang-kurangnya mereka perlu ada berapa sijil? Berapa banyak sijil lah agaknya?
Saya teka 10 doktor. Tak pun
10. 20 tak mungkin nak dapat. Okey. Berapa? Kurang-kurangnya 120.
Ini doktor.
Berapa file nak ada? Berapa file untuk sijil sahaja, ya? Okey. Jadi bagusnya bila kita bagi pendedahan macam ini, sekurang-kurangnya kalian perlu bersedia untuk dapatkan sijil. Kan? Itu satu. Kemudian jika untuk latihan industri, contohnya cara ataupun skill komunikasi sangat perlu. Dia nak tengok kalian kalian boleh bercakap ataupun pasif ataupun sebagainya, kan? Macam saya pernah juga menjadi ahli panel untuk jawatan, ya. Jadi temuduga yang kelima iaitu untuk jawatan. Okey. Alhamdulillah sebelum ini saya pernah menjadi pengarah di sebuah syarikat pusat bahasa, ya, yang saya merupakan ahli panel bagi memilih guru-guru di pusat bahasa tersebut. Kami ada 12 orang guru yang bertugas untuk mengajar warga asing. Kami ada pelajar-pelajar dari luar negara, lebih daripada 50 buah negara, termasuk Austria, ya, Jerman, Itali, Belanda, China dan banyak lagi. Okey, jadi berdasarkan pengalaman, kerana saya rasa saya tak perlu sentuh semua slide yang saya sediakan kerana Dr. Mazni telah pun menerangkan tadi, kan. Saya cuma nak kongsikanlah sedikit pengalaman ada masa yang diberikan ini untuk kalian membuat persiapan. Okey, bergantung kepada jawatan yang kalian pohon. Dulu saya pernah ada pengalaman, ya. Saya pernah ada pengalaman pelajar calon yang datang ke pusat bahasa untuk ditemuduga dari kalangan pelajar lulusan kedoktoran baru balik dari Rusia. Panjang cerita. Jadi kerajaan Malaysia memperuntukkan RM1 juta untuk menghantar pelajar ke Rusia, tetapi balik dengan kegagalan. Duit kita telah pun habis. Jadi dia datang untuk menjadi guru di pusat bahasa Prima Prestige. Kalian rasa kami terima ataupun tidak?
Tak terima kot.
Tak terima. Kerana bidang yang berbeza. Bahasa Melayu, nak mengajar bahasa Melayu bukan satu perkara yang mudah. Walaupun kita orang Melayu. Okey, sila ambil maklum. Walaupun kita orang Melayu, tetapi bukan mudah untuk mengajar bahasa Melayu. Kalianlah pejuang-pejuang yang ada ni, ada 12 orang ni, kalianlah yang perlu berusaha untuk memartabatkan bahasa Melayu. Ya, itu seorang calon yang kami tidak ambil. Kemudian calon kedua iaitu telah menjadi peguam selama 5 tahun. Jadi dah bosan jadi peguam, sangat stres dan juga dan pelbagai masalah yang lain menyebabkan mereka beralih arah untuk menjadi guru bahasa Melayu. Kalian rasa saya terima ke tidak?
Tak terima.
Sudah pasti tidak terima. Okey. Dan itu antara pengalaman saya sebagai pengarah ahli panel dan saya juga dilantik untuk menjadi ahli panel bagi jawatan pensyarah di UIA. Okey. Daripada 70 lebih penyertaan, ditapis tinggal 5. 5 itu diuji. Mereka perlu mereka perlu mengajar di samping yang lain-lain kita perhatikan, dan alhamdulillah mereka perlukan 2, jadi 2 yang terbaik itu telah kami terima sebagai pensyarah di UIA. Okey. Jadi itu panduan yang kalian perlu ingat, perlu perhatikan, kerana apa yang saya kongsikan dalam bidang dunia pendidikan. Macam Dr. Mazni tadi dalam dunia industri. Ya. Okey, jadi berbalik semula kepada, saya rasa dalam masa 1 jam tu saya mungkin akan gunakan 1 slide ni saja kot. Kerana soalan di sini saya nak tahu cara terbaik untuk menjawab soalan dengan efektif. Tak apa, saya akan pergilah juga ya, kerana ada permintaan tadi kan, saya tunaikan. Saya tunaikan kerana saya dah sediakan saya rasa lebih daripada 48 slide ke. Sebentar, termasuk iklan dan juga kata-kata semangat.
50 Doktor. 50 muka.
50 muka tapi tak apa. Sekurang-kurangnya yang hadir itu antara yang bertuah. Okey. Kerana dapat dengar perkongsian daripada Dr. Mazni dan juga Dr. Nora Azian. Okey, pengesahan sijil ya, itu. Kemudian yang ketiga, kumpul maklumat temuduga. Sebelum temuduga, kalian perlu menjalankan sedikit kerja untuk tahu beberapa perkara, terutama tentang skop pekerjaan. Okey. Contoh nak jadi guru. Bila saya tanya berapa jenis kata dalam bahasa Melayu, jadi macam-macam nombor yang keluar, itu sebagai petanda temuduga tu awal-awal sudah menampakkan kegagalan lah, kan. Kadang-kadang ahli panel dia tak nak buang masa ya. Jika ramai ahli yang datang, mereka tak nak buang masa, mereka cakap sahaja berkaitan dengan perkara-perkara yang contohnya berapa gaji yang perlu, itu kita saja je kan. Soalan-soalan yang provokasi, macam-macam lah. Ahli panel ni bijak kan. Jadi mereka boleh baca dah. Sekilas ikan di air, kami sudah tahu jantan betina, kecuali ikan yang pondan. Okey. Kerana daripada syuhada gelak, lambat sikit ya. Suara saya lambat sampai kot. Okey. Kerana dari impresi pertama, tanggapan pertama bila kalian buka pintu sahaja, ya. Bila kalian ketuk pintu, buka pintu, lepas tu ini kerusi kan? Ni kerusi, sebelum dia suruh duduk kan? Bila kita bagi okey, Assalamualaikum ataupun selamat sejahtera kepada tuan-tuan. Okey. Bila kita tengok impresi pertama, gaya dia berdiri, cara dia bercakap, kan? Tata cara macam mana, dia tak terus duduk, berdiri dulu. Okey. Selepas, di situ pun kita dah baca dah. Kita dah boleh agak dah. Calon ini, kita boleh teruskan temuduga ataupun kita bagi saja soalan yang provokasi, dia tak boleh jawab dan kita tunjukkan muka pintu untuk nak jimat masa. Ya, jadi harap maklum. Kadang-kadang bila ahli panel tu memberikan soalan provokasi, itu tanda-tanda temuduga itu gagal. Tetapi ada juga calon yang memang bagus, jadi ahli panel kemukakan soalan-soalan yang provokasi. Okey. Jadi itu sebelum kita masuk saja apa yang kita kena buat, maknanya kita ambil fail ini dan serahkan kepada ahli panel yang mana. Mereka akan bagi tahu. Kita akan serahkan fail ini kepada ahli panel yang mana. Okey, serahkan. Cara kita serahkan pun juga semua mata memandang. Kita tak boleh bagi belakang, pusing bagi belakang untuk ini. Salah etikanya. Okey. Jadi selepas serahkan, jadi apa yang kalian kena buat, kita perlu undur ke belakang dan berdiri semula di tempat yang disediakan. Baik, ahli panel kata, sila duduk. Baru kita boleh duduk. Terima kasih tuan. Lepas dia cakap boleh duduk, terima kasih tuan. Okey. Boleh duduk, baru duduk. Ya, itu dia. Mungkin yang boleh saya kongsikan sebagai tambahan daripada apa yang telah Dr. Mazlin sampaikan tadi, ya. Okey, kemudian persiapan penjenamaan diri itu sangat penting. Kerana itu bagi menjawab soalan yang dikemukakan oleh syuhada tu, kan, macam mana nak jawab soalan yang efektif dengan cara yang efektif. Okey, dia ada peringkat-peringkatnya. Jadi penjenamaan diri ni kita kena buat kerja tu dari rumah. Kalian kena nyatakan apa kejayaan yang pernah kalian raih, apa anugerah yang pernah kalian dapat, apa pencapaian tertinggi, apa. Jadi bila kita datang ke temuduga, kita bertemu dengan mereka dan mereka akan duga kita. Apa yang kita ada itu perkara biasa saja, kan, kerana apa yang nak disampaikan itu berkaitan dengan latar belakang kita. Jadi kita kena bersedia. Itu soalan itu tak bolehlah nak kata tergagap-gagap dan sebagainya. Itu yang kita kena praktis, kena berlatih. Okey. Kemudian penampilan, pakaian. Dari segi pakaian, macam yang saya pakai ni tak sesuai lah kalau kita nak hadir temuduga, ya. Ikut pada kesesuaian jawatan yang dipohon. Maksudnya dari segi penampilan, kasut, aksesori, solekan, kemudian warna pakaian tadi Dr. Mazlin ada sentuh sikit, kan, warna pakaian, kemudian tak bolehlah ni kerongsang ni terlalu berkilauan. Bagi lelaki sebenarnya pada poket itu perlu diselitkan sebatang pen. Ini aksesoris. Mereka tak pakai brush, kan. Okey. Jadi kalau kita hadir, dia ada pula tata cara yang lain ya. Jadi kalau lelaki perlu diselitkan sebagai hiasan. Jadi jika ada apa-apa, masa dalam bilik tu kita tak boleh nak bawa telefon dan sebagainya. Jadi jika ada apa-apa yang perlu ditulis ataupun kalian nak membentangkan, kalian ada idea, kalian dah kumpul maklumat tu, kalian sudah ada maklumat berkaitan dengan syarikat tersebut. Jadi kalian boleh minta izin daripada mereka untuk mengongsikan. Maafkan saya ahli panel, boleh saya kongsikan apa hasil ataupun cadangan yang saya akan buat, saya akan lakukan jika saya diterima di syarikat tuan. Silakan. Bila ahli panel kata silakan, okey, kita akan kongsikan. Mungkin kita ada sediakan sedikit bahan ya yang kita dah kaji tentang syarikat itu. Maknanya syarikat ni jatuh kerana tak ada bahagian komunikasi korporat mungkin. Kan? Jadi kita cadangkan. Itulah, kita perlu cari satu kelainan pada calon itu. Bila dipanggil temuduga tu, maksud dari segi kelayakan, dari segi akademik, itu memang dah memenuhi syarat. Tetapi kita nak ambil yang terbaik daripada yang terbaik. Ya? Okey, jadi itu sebelum. Maksudnya buat persiapan rapi sebelum memasuki tempat temuduga. Okey, semasa temuduga pula mereka kebanyakan masa saya jadi ahli panel, syarikat kami ataupun pusat bahasa memang menyediakan soalan bertulis. Apalah agaknya tujuan temuduga bertulis tu? Dia akan bagi soalan dan kalian perlu menjawabnya. Agak-agak tolonglah respon. Ada 11 orang yang
mungkin penemuduga tu nak melihat tentang kemahiran kita menjawab, macam kemahiran kita menulis jawapan dalam masa yang ditetapkan. Maksudnya kemahiran untuk menjawab soalan dalam masa yang terhad.
Okey, terima kasih. Lagi? Kita berdua saja ke syuhada?
Yang lain ni madam dekat YouTube. Doktor, dekat YouTube.
Okey. Jadi apa lagi agaknya? Boleh ke siapa-siapa ni tolong responskan? Okay. Kenapa agaknya? Selain nak tengok kemahiran kita, memberikan idea, memberikan pendapat, apa lagi lah agak tujuannya? Temuduga bertulis tu dia adakan. Maknanya bagi kemukakan soalan dan kita jawab.
Ada yang menjawab untuk melihat tulisan peserta.
Ya, betul.
Cakap rayah atau tidak.
Ya, betul. Ya, betul. Melihat tulisan peserta. Syuhada dan 12 yang lain, 12 orang ahli panel yang lain, 12 pendengar yang lain, ya. Betul. Kerana melalui tulisan sahaja kita boleh baca dia punya peribadi. Ini jika kalian ada belajar dalam antropologi. Nantilah ya. Dalam antropologi maknanya dari segi tulisan tu saja kita boleh tahu pekerja ni, calon ini orang yang disiplin ataupun orang yang boleh setia kepada syarikat ataupun orang yang macam lalang, boleh ke tepi, boleh ke kanan, boleh ke kiri bila dipengaruhi oleh orang lain, pekerja-pekerja lama barangkali. Okey, dan tulisan itu sendiri boleh digunakan untuk jika ada apa-apa berlaku, kita boleh rujuk pada tulisan itu. Ini yang dilakukan oleh syarikat-syarikat di barat untuk buat postmortem dengan izin bedah siasat dan sebagainya. Jangan main-main. Sangat penting, ya. Dan untuk pengetahuan kalian, tulisan yang kecil menunjukkan seseorang yang apa agaknya? Saya selalu sebut dekat dalam kelas. Seseorang, tulisan yang kecil menunjukkan orang yang penakut. Jadi bila ahli panel ni kan tengok aja tulisan ni, dah letak tepi dah. Kita belum tengok jawapan dia lagi. Kita baru tengok tulisan sahaja. Jadi pengalaman-pengalaman ahli panel ni setiap orang tu sangat banyak lah, ya. Okay. Jadi melalui tulisan saja, kita tak tengok lagi cara dia menjawab kan. Dia tulisan saja. Tulisan yang kecil tu kita dah letakkan dekat tepi. Bermakna calon ini bukan calon sebenar yang kita perlukan. Ya. Kemudian tulisan yang besar pula, awak rasa bagus tak?
Besar sangat mungkin tak bagus, Doktor.
Tak bagus. Okey. Tulisan yang besar menunjukkan orang yang sombong. Jadi bila kalian nak macam dulu-dulu kan. Dulu-dulu bila kita nak menyatakan rasa suka, rasa cinta, rasa rasa menghargai seseorang tu kan melalui tulisan. Dulu tulis surat. Sekarang senang je cakap I love you. Tapi kita tak tahu pun. Tengok lepas kahwin apa jadi kan. itu selinganlah sikit kan. Jadi sebelum kahwin tu, sebelum dapat pilihan tu, suruh dia tulis dulu. Saya juga pernah sedikit perkongsian lah kan. Saya juga pernah mengajak ataupun merubah keadaan pelajar saya, ya, dulu. Pelajar ni bijak, pelajar ni bagus, tapi tulisan dia macam cakap ayam. Nak kata jadi doktor pun bukan. Karakter doktor pun kita tahu. Ya, semua pun kita boleh baca. Ya, syuhada. Mungkin orang lain tu respon tapi saya tak nampak dalam YouTube ya dan sebagainya. Terima kasih ya kepada yang respon. Tetapi karakter tu kita boleh tahu dah. Contohnya dulu satu ketika saya ada masalah kaki kan. Bila saya turun daripada kelas, ramailah pelajar ni. Ramai pelajar ni dia pegang, dia tu yang perempuan dia pegang, nak tolong pimpin. Dia kata, cikgu sakit kaki, dia kata. Lepas tu saya kata, tak. Kenapa cikgu jangan macam tu? Saya berlakon je. Jalan macam ni. Saya berlakon je. Tetapi ada pelajar yang apa dia buat? Dia kata, cikgu tunggu. Dia kata, tunggu sini. Jangan bergerak. Apa dia buat? Awak rasa? Dia pergi lari kerana masa tu di sekolah saya ada seorang pelajar oku. Jadi dia lari, dia buat apa?
Ambil kursi roda.
Kursi roda. Cikgu sila duduk cikgu. Lepas tu dia tolaklah saya. Sampai ke bilik guru. Nampak tak? Kita tahu tak? Boleh baca tak? Karakter pelajar. Dia dah nampak saya sakit kaki. Tetapi dia buat apa? Cikgu sakit kaki? Ditanya lagi. Jadi saya patut ke jawab sakit kaki? Itu pengarah. Karakter dia, kerjaya dia ialah pengarah. Maksudnya saya kata saya berlakon. Okey. Jadi dalam temu duga ni pelbagai cara ataupun kaedah digunakan oleh ahli panel untuk melihat pastikan bakal isteri atau suami diuji melalui tulisan tangan cakap tunangan. Ya betul Dr. Mazmi. Saya sangat setuju tu Dr. Mazmi. Betul. Jadi macam itulah baru respon, barulah best sikit kan. Tak ada saya cakap seorang aja. Okey, jadi berkaitan dengan tulisan tangan tadi dan juga cara pergerakan. Tadi Dr. Mazmi ada sentuh kan, cara kita duduk kan. Jadi saya pun ada dalam slide itu kemukakan sertakan video kan untuk kalian lihat. Maksudnya kita masuk tu kita mesti senyum kan, tak boleh ni soften dengan izin, tu kan kata kunci tu kan, soften. S untuk apa? S untuk apa?
Salam.
Salam.
Smile.
Smile, senyum kan. Senyum pula ada banyak cara senyum. Maksud senyum ya. Okey, ini adalah dalam buku saya. Okey, dalam buku penulisan saya sebenarnya ada 50 kaedah senyum. Ya. Jadi semasa kalian berada di dalam bilik temuduga tu, senyum yang mana satu nak guna? Okey, boleh nampak gigi. Contoh, bila kita baru berkenalan dengan seseorang, kita tak boleh senyum nampak gigi. Tak boleh. Tak boleh senyum semarat je macam senyum kambing kan. Tu senyum kambing tu hanya untuk kambing je.
Jadi doktor kena senyum macam mana doktor?
Itu kena baca buku saya. Dia ada 50 tetapi saya belum menemukan 50 kaedah senyuman itu kan. Saya baru jumpa ada beberapa belas sahaja. Maksudnya antara senyuman yang perlu kita gerakkan otot-otot senyuman menghasilkan minda yang positif tu, kita macam senyum biasa. Okey, masa mula-mula masuk tu dah tak boleh nak macam kerang busuk je, macam menyeringai je macam tu kan. Okey, kecuali dia ada masalah gigi. Okey. Kemudian senyuman yang lain, senyuman menawan meninggalkan produktiviti anda. Okey, dalam buku ni ada saya nyatakan senyuman menawan meningkatkan produktiviti. Jadi ahli panel ni dia tengok awak punya senyuman pun dia dah tahu dah. Wah, sangat hebat lah ahli panel ni kan.
Macam nujum pak belalang.
Macam nujum pak belalang boleh, nujum pak belanga ke pak apa pun semua boleh. Pak mustapel pun boleh. Okey. Jadi senyuman seterusnya ialah dia kata senyuman seseorang dapat mentafsir maksud tersirat tanpa menggunakan bahasa, iaitu magis senyuman. Contohnya bila soalan yang dikemukakan soalan berbentuk provokasi ataupun soalan-soalan yang negatif, soalan yang ni macam mana kita harus senyum sebenarnya. Dan kita perlu ucapkan terima kasih juga. Apa saja setiap kali ahli panel habis saja mengemukakan soalan ya, kita perlu ucapkan terima kasih. Terima kasih tuan atas soalan yang dikemukakan. Pada pendapat saya, jadi walaupun dia soalan tu soalan negatif, contohnya apakah kelemahan anda? Pendek je soalannya kan? Jadi, apa yang kalian perlu jawab? Tolong respon saya.
Saya rasa
ya, silakan.
mungkin kita boleh letakkan mungkin kita boleh terus terang kelemahan kita, tapi di akhir tu kita letakkan sebagai macam pernyataan yang kita akan menambah baik kelemahan tersebut untuk menjadi satu peluang baru.
Ya betul. Okey, bagus. Ada ke ahli panel bila dia kata sila nyatakan kelemahan anda, bila dia dengarlah calon ni cakap kelemahan saya suka itu, saya suka ni, ada tak syarikat nak ambil?
Tak ada.
Tak adalah, sudah pasti. Sekian, kita tamatkan temuduga kita dan saya pun tunjuk pintu. Nah, itu soalan provokasi. Maksudnya soalan-soalan yang negatif. Jadi kita perlu jawab. Tadi Syuhada nak tanyakan macam mana kita nak jawab secara efektif kan. Jadi jika ada soalan-soalan yang macam itu, kerana dia tengok memang dah bagus ni calon ni, jadi dia bagi soalan yang macam yang negatif lah kan. Jadi apa yang berlaku kalau calon tu semua pun cakap macam itu, memang sudah pastilah. Kalau patutnya temuduga tu dalam 10 minit, jadi 2 minit, 3 minit pun dah selesai dah. Bila panjang, bila ramai calon, kadang-kadang dia kalau lama, kadang-kadang boleh jadi calon yang dia dah nak ambil. Kadang-kadang bila sekejap saja temuduga, itu tanda-tanda temuduga tu gagal. Tetapi kadang-kadang tak boleh kira juga. Kejap ataupun lama bergantung pada bila mereka kemukakan soalan, pasti ada jawapannya. Dan jawapan yang kalian kena bagi mesti jawapan yang mantap. Maksudnya bukan macam umum kan, ataupun sekadar menjawab sahaja. Kita tahu, kita boleh baca daripada roman muka tu, kita boleh baca dah kan. Masa kita nak berdepan dengan penemuduga tu, siapa yang tanya, pandangan mata kita mesti tujukan kepada orang yang bertanya. Supaya apa agaknya? Kita perlu pandang mata sebelah mana?
Kita pandang mata, mungkin nak tengok kita punya tahap keyakinan, doktor.
Yelah, kita perlu pandang mata ahli panel tu yang mata sebelah mana, sebelah kanan ke, sebelah kiri ke, mata tengah-tengah ke?
Kanan kot mungkin.
Sebelah kanan. Okey, tak apa. Asalkan ada jawapan, terima kasih atas respon. Okey, sebenarnya digalakkan untuk pandang mata kiri dia. Kerana mata kiri ini ada hubung kaitnya dengan otak. Okey. Jadi bila kita pandang mata kiri dia, pepatah Melayu kan ada mengatakan dari mata turun ke hati. Jadi bila dia dengar kita bercakap dengan bagus, dengan fasih, dengan lancar, semua soalan dapat dijawab, tu menunjukkan mereka ni bersedia. Kan? Jadi itulah antara kelebihan yang kita nak cari daripada calon itu. Maksudnya semua tu kita akan perhatikan. Sama ada, dulu saya, kerana masa ada tinggal 3-4 minit saja lagi ya. Dulu saya ada pengalaman untuk mengambil pembantu rumah. Ya. Jadi saya rujuk kepada seorang pelajar saya yang sangat boleh bacalah kita punya roman muka ni. Jadi dia kata, walaupun saya masa tu belum doktor, tapi dia dah panggil saya doktor. Doktor, yang calon ini, yang ni, pekerja ni tak boleh ambil. Kenapa ya? Kerana pipinya menunjukkan orang ni ialah panas baran. Dia tak boleh jaga anak doktor nanti. Ini ialah ilmu psikologi. Ya. Pada nak jadi apa nanti? Nak jadi antropologi, nak jadi psikologi, nak jadi jadi itu semua kita kena baca. Okeylah. Saya rasa masa saya dah hampir habis, jadi saya nanti jalankan sekali lalu ya. Saya punya slide tu sekejap saya ni kan. Jadi cara menawan hati ahli panel tu saya dah kongsikan tadi. Cara kita bercakap kan, gerak tangan kita tak boleh melampau, tak bolehlah ke sana, kemari, ke sana. Tangan tak boleh lepasi bahu. Bila kita duduk bercakap, kita boleh angkat sikit je. Pada minggu lepas, kami sekeluarga telah, macam mana? Pergerakan. Mata kena tujukan kepada orang yang bercakap. Kata ahli panel yang bercakap ahli ketiga. Jadi kita pandang kepada ahli panel yang ketiga. Bila ahli panel pertama pula kemukakan soalan, jadi kita pandangkan mata kita ke arah ahli panel yang pertama tu. Macam tu. Okay, jadi peringkat temuduga ni biasanya ada 3 permulaan. Permulaan tu dia akan tanya tentang peribadi, pertengahan dia akan tanya serba sedikit tentang pencapaian kita, apa kekuatan kita, kan, pengalaman kita, dan peringkat akhir tu itu yang dia akan uji kita tentang tugasan ataupun skop tugas tu. Ya, kemudian selepas tu ambil file, tunggu keputusan dan baiki kelemahan. Jadi kita tahu mungkin temuduga tu pertama tu gagal, jadi kita kena baiki kelemahan-kelemahan itu, ya. Okey, boleh tak tolong pergi laju saja, saya dah terangkan tadi. Okey, satu lagi lepaskan. Okey. Semasa pula pandangan, idea, ya, tulisan, mainkan peranan. Okey, ini satu lagi saya nak kongsikan. Jika diizinkan boleh ke?
Boleh Doktor.
Boleh ya. Okey, cara kita mengatasi gemuruh. Gemuruh jiwa. Okey, memang bergeladak ni bila kita nak tu. Bukan kalian saja yang muda-muda. Saya yang dah berpengalaman macam ni pun bila nak bercakap tu memang ada darah gemuruh tu, kan. Jadi apa yang boleh kita kongsikan iaitu bertafakur. Kita boleh saja duduk, pejam mata, tarik nafas, ya. Ada cara dan kaedahnya tetapi tak sempat saya nak bincangkan di sini. Sekurang-kurangnya kita set, boleh ke? Dalam bahasa Melayu set ke? Kita programkan, kita masukkan dalam minda kita bahawa perjalanan program ini sudah selesai. Jadi itu yang saya selalu gunakan 3 frasa tu, percaya dan bergaya. Bermakna sudah dapat. Okey. Kemudian minum air mineral tu untuk mengelakkan daripada terhidrat, ya. Kadang-kadang dah cakap ataupun risau boleh mengurangkan, tapi lepas tu kena pergi tandas pula. Senaman ringan tu kita gerak-gerakkan tangan, ya. Berlatih senyum. Macam mana kita perlu senyum, naik ke bibir ataupun ni ke dengan orang yang pertama kita nak jumpa ni, macam mana kita perlu senyum. Kemudian yang keempat, pernafasan, itu sangat penting. Ini bukan sahaja untuk temuduga tetapi untuk kegunaan seharian kita, iaitu pernafasan. Segala-galanya, segala program, segala apa yang kita nak capai ataupun kita sihat, kita sakit, kita murung, kita itu, semua pun kita yang tentukan sendiri melalui pernafasan itu. Jika kita bernafas dengan baik, lancar dan betul, kalian boleh saksikan terselah di wajah kalian sendiri. Okey? Dan bayangkan, maksudnya kita tak nak melalui, dalam bayangan itu kita tak nak ikut saja proses-proses lepas ini, tak nak. Kita bayangkan sudah selesai. Yes! Itu yang perlu diinikan. Sebelum masuk ke dewan, sebelum masuk ke bilik panel, masuk temuduga tu, yes! Jeritkan. Maknanya sudah selesai. Walaupun usia saya sekarang sudah meniti hampir 60 dah, kan. Tetapi setiap kali saya bangun pagi, apa yang saya lakukan, saya akan setkan. Semua telah selesai. Alhamdulillah. Okey, teruskan. Slide yang seterusnya. Ada 3 minit lagi. Ini cara menawan tadi saya dah tunjukkan, ya. Kemudian ini boleh tengoklah. Saya dah terangkan tadi, ya. Okey, ini peringkat. Laju, lagi, teruskan. Lagi. Okey. Penjenamaan diri. Jadi kalian kena fokuskan itu, kena buat latihan tu di rumah, ya. Okey, teruskan. Teruskan. Soalan terbuka. Okey, penguasaan bahasa dia nak tengok kita bertutur ya, dan tangan kita tu tak naklah selalu, lepas tu selalu kita dengar orang kata, so. Itu semua habit itu perlu dikurangkan cara bercakap ya. Sebaik-baiknya kita tegaklah, duduk tegak macam tu. Okey, teruskan. Ini elakkan. Bila ditanya, adakah awak sudah berumah tangga? Ya. Cukup itu saja. Itu perlu dielakkan. Perlu terangkan. Ya. Okey, lagi. Ini soalan-soalan tadi dah diceritakan. Teruskan. Ini biasa. Soalan pertama dia akan tanya latar belakang. Kenapa kenapa ahli panel nak tahu kalau anak sulung dia punya sifat kepemimpinan itu lain, kalau anak bongsu lain. Kan? Tetapi ada yang marah. Doktor, saya anak bongsu tapi saya mempunyai sifat. Okey, alhamdulillah, kan? Ini kajian, ya. Okey, soalan kedua biasanya ditanya tentang minat, mengapa minat. Jadi jawablah berdasarkan apa yang telah saya ni kan. Okey, seterusnya soalan ketiga, apa kelemahan? Tadi kita dah bincangkan. Seterusnya ini soalan yang sangat bagus. Kenapa anda fikir kami perlu ambil anda? Kan? Okey, teruskan. Jadi macam ni jawapannya. Yang keempat tadi semula. Tuan boleh bayangkan kualiti kerja yang akan saya lakukan. Kita dengar pun, ini memang hebat ni. Kan? Oh, ada soalan sini. Doktor, saya ada soalan selepas sesi temu duga selesai, adakah kita dibenarkan untuk meminta maklum balas tentang perkara yang perlu kita perbaiki daripada penemu duga tersebut? Okey, terima kasih yang bertanya. Ya. Okey, mungkin soalan orang lain tapi syuhada yang typekan ke? Okey. Okey. Kadang-kadang bila kadang-kadang bila calon itu bagus, mereka terus bagi jawapan. Awak tengok dalam saya punya video tu, kan? Oleh sebab calon ni memang bagus, kita terus bagi keputusan. Anda berjaya. Kita tak tunggu lama dah. Tetapi jika tak berjaya, kita tak cakap. Apa-apa kelemahan pun kita tak cakap. Jadi kalian yang kena baiki sendiri kelemahan itu. Adakah menjawab, Syuhada?
Menjawab, Doktor.
Okey, terima kasih ya. Okey. Seterusnya, soalan kelima. Ini saya dah merahkan. Kalian boleh hafallah jawapan kan jika untuk latihan internship, latihan industri ataupun temu duga yang lain nanti kan. Okey, seterusnya laju saja. Okey, ini secara berkumpulan. Ini larangan. Okey. Teruskan laju saja. Laju. Ini tak boleh memotong kan. Calon tadi yang tadi 35 memotong soalan ahli panel. Panel belum habis cakap, dia dah tahu dah. Okey, saya dah tahu dah jawapannya. Okey, itu satu larangan lah kan. Okey. Okey, seterusnya ini larangan pemakaian aksesoris kan. Tak adalah macam ambil jarum ke kan. Sini golek sini tunjukkan ini dan sebagainya. Okey. Warna yang digalakkan itulah hitam, biru tua, kelabu. Kemudian rantai berjurai pun macam tak bagus sangatlah, tak digalakkan lah ya. Solekkan pun biar berpada. Seterusnya dah habis dah masa ni kot ya. Selepas penilaian ambil file, ini faktor kegagalan. Okey. Boleh kita senaraikan ya. Dan akhirnya apa yang perlu kita baiki daripada kelemahan itu, kita baiki diri untuk dapatkan yang terbaik. Seterusnya saya rasa dah habis dah. Tip menghadiri temu duga, ini kata-kata saja ya. Ada video yang saya ni kan, tak payahlah, tak sempat dah. Okey, teruskan. Kata-kata lagi. Ini yang saya sangat suka. Mesti dan pasti Maksudnya jika jawatan itu ada satu sahaja, tetapi jika kita betul-betul berminat, Tuhan boleh wujudkan satu lagi untuk kita. Mesti dan pasti. Okey? Kemudian, percaya dan bergaya, kalian sudah dapat jawatan itu. Yes! Akhir sekali, selamat dan beruntung. Itu saja dari saya. Saya akhiri perkongsian saya dengan kata-kata agar sebelum kalian menghadiri sesi temu duga, buatlah sesuatu latihan dan juga carilah maklumat untuk jawatan ataupun syarikat tersebut. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Doktor atas perkongsian yang sangat mantap dan sangat padat saya rasa. Daripada apa yang Doktor sampaikan, kita boleh nampak yang efektif daripada awal, daripada persediaan kita untuk memilih warna baju sampailah ke bilik temu duga, cara untuk menjawab soalan dengan baik dan cara untuk menjawab soalan provokasi dengan tenang dan juga gerak badan ketika proses temu duga sedang berlaku. Okey, baiklah. Kita telah pun sampai ke akhir program pada hari ini. Terima kasih saya ucapkan sejuta kali kepada Dr. Nurazian selaku penceramah atas kesudian Doktor untuk berkongsi dan memberi tunjuk ajar kepada kami semua. Semoga Doktor terus diberikan kesihatan dan juga dimurahkan rezeki selalu. Amin. Okay. Terima kasih juga kepada para hadirin kerana sudi meluangkan masa untuk menyertai program ini walaupun sedang menikmati hujung minggu yang sangat tenang. Semoga segala ilmu dan pengetahuan yang diperolehi sepanjang program akan dimanfaatkan sebaiknya. Saya mewakili program komiti memohon maaf sekiranya sepanjang program berlangsung terdapat sebarang kekurangan daripada pihak kami. Dan sekiranya anda masih belum mengisi borang pendaftaran, anda boleh berbuat demikian dengan segera. Okay. Sebelum kita mengakhiri program, saya ingin menjemput Dr. Mazni untuk membuka kamera dan kita boleh bersuah foto bersama-sama.
Saya dah dalam kereta.
Okay, saya tak sabar. Okay, tangkap gambar dulu. Okay. Cepat tak gambar. Satu. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Tangkaplah gambar. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Komiti tak masuk.
Komiti tak masuk. Okay. Bunga dedaup di atas para anak dusun, pasang pelita, andai tersilap, tutur bicara, jari disusun, maaf dipinta. Dari Kedah ke Pekansari, beli suasa di Kota Tinggi. Selesai sudah tugas diberi, di lain masa bersua lagi. Semoga kita berjumpa lagi dalam program yang akan datang. Kita sudahi program hari ini dengan bacaan tasbih kafarah dan syaratul nas. Terima kasih kepada Dr. Mazni dan juga Dr. Nurazian kerana sudi meluangkan masa dengan kami pada pagi ini. Terima kasih semua. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Dr.
Bye. Sama-sama.